Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel, and it's another episode of Eddie versus the algorithm. Apologies that I have missed out on a few of these uploads in the last week. If you didn't see yesterday's video, that's because I've been a bit ill recently, so we are going to give those by way of forfeit to the algorithm those weeks, just due to the fact that I guess it's a human factor, isn't it? That when we're doing a Eddie versus the algorithm, a man versus a machine, I suppose the human factors should definitely come against me. The robot's not going to forget to do its team every week, I suppose, if there could be a robot that did your FPL team, that is. But yeah, that's 2 points for the algorithm then. I actually did win the game week prior as well, very narrowly. It was game week 14, the last one we actually did, and it was Taylor who I went with, who got 10 points that ended up making quite a difference, which was very nice. But yeah, that's so long ago now that we're going to just skip the team recap for this week and jump straight into what you're probably here for, which is the game week 17 algorithm team reveal. So let's have a look how the computer generated team is looking for this week, and then I'll put my own team together and we'll see if we can beat it for this upcoming game week. So it's going to be a 64 predicted points total for the algorithm this week as it lines up in a 3-4-3 formation. The current score, as you can see now at the bottom of your screen, is 11-5. And let's kick things off, as always, with who the keeper is for the computer team. And it's going to be Alisson Becker this week, which is a bit of an interesting selection. Obviously, with how Manchester United are performing at the moment and Liverpool having the home fixture, how that fixture's even gone in recent years as well, there's a lot of things going in favour of Liverpool coming away in that one with a pretty hefty victory. Whether or not they'll keep a clean sheet, I suppose, is yet to be determined. And also, the fact that having 3 Liverpool players in this game week itself could look quite strategic. Maybe Alisson Becker isn't the best way to use your Liverpool slots in a free hit for this game week. He's also just quite expensive and takes up quite a significant amount of the budget as well. But he's predicted 5.0 points for this week as Liverpool take on United, as mentioned. And in defence, he's going to be joined by his teammate, as predicted. Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, has to make it into the team for this game week. And in general, if you're looking for an option right now, if we're getting less positive news around Haaland towards the weekend and people are downgrading him and have a lot of funds to play around with, then Trent, of course, is a very nice option as well. Creates so many chances. It's him and Pedro Porro at the moment, who we've really got to be looking at very closely if you don't own, and getting them into your defence. I'm much less tempted by the other 2 options here, Ruben Diaz and Thiago Silva. Man City do have some nice fixtures coming up, but one of those is going to be a blank game week. But this game week, in isolation, Crystal Palace at home, very nice fixture for Man City. You can definitely see a clean sheet being kept in that one. And of course, when you go with Diaz, you know you're getting as pretty much as close to nailed as you can to a Man City defender. And then Thiago Silva, so going for a Chelsea defensive asset, never been the strongest point to go for in my opinion. Sheffield United have scored a few more goals as of late. They seem to be getting a little bit more confident. They aren't quite the team where you could be very confident of getting a clean sheet when your side was at home against them earlier on in the season, in my view. Chelsea could be without keeper Sanchez as well. I'm not actually too certain on what the latest injury update is with him. There seems to be too many keeper injuries to keep track of this game week, to be honest, as well as injuries to the defence and midfields. But these 3 defenders, if you're looking for one for your team for this week, it's just got to be Trent Alexander-Arnold, really. But we'll get into having a look at who my favourite picks are in just a moment when we look at my side. In the midfield this week, it's going to be Mo Salah, of course, taking the captain's armband for that game against Manchester United, although we did compare him against 2 other options in Dom Solanke and Heung-min Son in yesterday's video, if you'd like to check that one out for yourself, because there could be a case for going for one of those options instead. Odegaard and Saka then come in for Arsenal's game against Brighton at home, and then Heung-min Son, of course, 6.2 predicted points for him as Spurs travel to face Nottingham Forest. And then finally, up front, we're going to see Solanke, Alvarez, and then Nicholas Jackson. So I quite like the little Jackson pun. I also really like Alvarez, and I like Solanke, of course, as well. 6.0 predicted points for Solanke, 5.1 for Nicholas Jackson, and 4.7 for Alvarez. Just be wary, of course, that if you're doing Haaland to Alvarez, you're going to have to bench Alvarez next week. So you're going to have either a pretty strong defense, which at the moment does not look like a lot of teams have that in terms of being able to field 4 defenders next game week, or you've got to have every other of your attacker looks very nice. So, you know, a really strong 5 midfield and your other 2 strikers other than Alvarez looking like good options too, which I don't think is that uncommon at the moment. If you're downgrading Haaland, you could, of course, upgrade whichever of the 8th attackers is your weakest to someone else in preparation for this blank. But personally, I think when you're looking at it, if you don't own Alvarez and then you don't own maybe a Solanke or a Watkins, I'm a little bit more inclined to just go for a Solanke or a Watkins, whichever one you don't own right now. But some people might even own both Solanke and Watkins at the moment. And then, in that case, you probably could go for Alvarez if you have a nice midfield 5, in my view. On the bench for the algorithm this week is going to be Bettinelli. We've got Souček, Tarkowski, and then Lascelles as Newcastle take on Fulham at home. As a Lascelles owner, that's pretty nice to see, but only 3.4 predicted points for him. Newcastle have not been looking at their best recently, but yeah, nice to know that he's not looking too unhealthy in terms of predicted points total. But let's have a look at my side then and how it compares to the algorithm team. I have made quite a number of changes this week. I've gone with Pickford in goal, and Everton just seem to be keeping a lot of clean sheets at the moment. I don't know why I feel confident in him getting one in an away game against Burnley, but I think I might see it continuing. Whenever I seem to doubt Everton out in terms of a clean sheet, they deem to keep one. So Mykolenko is also on the bench kind of for that reason, alongside Sterling and Colwill, just because I had some money left over from going for some punts in the starting 11. So Sterling and Colwill, if required, for the game against Sheffield United, do look like pretty nice options. We've got stuck with Trent in the defence, of course. He's joined by Pedro Porro, who is most likely going to be my transfer in this game week for my own team. He's looked brilliant as of late, and kind of Trent's the only one who can top him in terms of a lot of the creative statistics over the last couple of game weeks. And then Kyle Walker. I think that he's a good option for a Man City defender if you're looking for one. Of course, there's just not a luxury that many can afford at the moment. With that blank coming up, you're going to have to bench him next week. And if you already own, one or maybe two other Man City players already, definitely not the wisest thing to go for. And if you likewise, if you have 5 defenders and 3 of them aren't looking very good at the moment or might be injured, anything like that, then you don't want to trade those defenders in for someone who's not going to be able to play for you next game week. You're probably going to need that asset. We've then got Mohamed Salah, of course, keeping the captain's armband. He's joined by Luis Diaz, who is perhaps a little bit more out there of a punt. He's not been looking brilliant as of late in terms of data and all that kind of stuff. He is playing rather wide. He's only predicted 3.7 points, in fact, for this game against Manchester United. But I just do think that it could be a demolition. And then I wanted to go for him over, say, someone like a Simicast. Just about I could afford going with him in midfield. But I did have to take that slot up, which could have been taken up by quite a lot of other players. So Sterling, for example, on the bench only in this team. We're stuck with Son, of course, and then we've gone with Tavernier and Solanke. So I've doubled up on Bournemouth due to their recent form. Really like the look of them. Only 4.2 predicted points for Tavernier, though, so let's hope that he can outscore that one. And then Alvarez and Watkins as well. I don't think that Brentford are the strong team that they have been at points in this season and also previous seasons. I think that they could be there for the taking. I know Villa are a lot better at home, but I still think I can see Watkins grabbing something in this one. So that's why I've decided to stick with him. And hopefully this team can carry me through and make it 12-5 in the series so far. But it's that time of the video where I want you guys to go down into the comments and let me know who you guys think is going to win this game week. Are you Team Eddie or Team Algo for game week 17? You can also drop any of your own questions that you've got with regards to your own personal team. If you're between 2 transfers and just want one other man's opinion, then you can, of course, drop the comment down below, ask the question, and I'll try my best to get back to you. Thank you very much for tuning into this one. If you want to check out if there are any late changes to the algorithm team, you can, of course, do that via the Fantasy Football Fix website. Amazing offers on for the moment, so you can get all the premium features for free last time I went on that you checked. So I'm not sure 100% if that's still on, but get in before maybe it's gone. Links down below in the description to check out Fantasy Football Fix, the tool I use every week for making all my FPL decisions. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video, and hope to catch you then. Goodbye.